Hello, everybody. My name's Kyl Reber, and welcome to another episode of the COVID Conversations. This is a time where we have a chat to people from all over the place, and in this case, from all over the world, about little things in their lives, how they are as a person, learn something about them we don't already know, and get their take on where things are happening with the current state of the world as we know it. So, with me on my left or right, whichever way you see it, is a man who, to a lot of people within Bob Jones Martial Arts, needs no introduction, but to a lot of other people, he is a really cool guy. He's been doing martial arts for about 34 years, but over the last probably 10 years in particular, I have had the pleasure of spending time with him in his home country and in my country and even in his house, and learned that there is a lot more to this human being. And that is one thing we're going to capitalise on finding out today. So all the way from Christchurch, New Zealand, locked behind a steel door because they are still in lockdown. What day is it, Eddie?
I don't know.
Don't even know what day it is.
Monday, I think.
Eddie Woodford, welcome. How are you, my friend?
I'm very good. Thanks for having me on board. It's nice to catch up with you.
It is always nice to catch up with you. Eddie and I have already had about a 45-minute conversation before this anyway, but that's one of the things with Eddie. We start a conversation and then usually about 2 or 3 hours and a bottle of Woodford Reserve later, we go, do we keep going or do we start again tomorrow? And usually it's the first answer. Mate, I guess the way we do this, you've already sent you the questions. So the big one, I did this, it's too early over here, although it's, what is it over there? 6:45 or so?
6:45.
Oh, cool. It's still, it's not even 4 o'clock yet, so I can't justify a beer just yet. So here's my water. The barbecue intro. G'day, mate. Kia ora. My name's Kyl. What's your name, bro? Tell us about yourself.
Well, I'm Eddie. It's as simple as that. Look, I'm usually a shy guy, you know that. So it takes me a bit of warm up.
Initially.
Initially. Hey, look, I guess everybody just knows me as the martial artist because that's what we do, don't we? So, look, I've been, well, particularly even over the COVID-19, I'm in the truck business. I supply parts to workshops and agents and resellers throughout the South Island. So I'm the South Island manager of a place called United Truck Parts. Fortunately, I've been working through this COVID-19 and throughout the lockdown.
You said just then people know me as Eddie the martial artist. Does that sometimes, I don't know if frustrate is the right word, but does that sometimes get to you a little bit that that's as far as sometimes the conversation gets? Like there would be a lot of, and again, for those who don't know, Eddie is the head instructor for Bob Jones Martial Arts in New Zealand. Because you hold that position, do you find that there are a lot of people that's all they actually do know about you, and you want to every now and then, can we just not talk about that? And can I just tell you about, you know, what's your cute little spaniel's name that you have?
Winston.
Oh, like, you know, you've got Winston. Winston is the cutest dog known, you know, the cutest dog in Christchurch.
Yeah, let me find him. Here he is. Up. Winnie, up. There you go. There he is.
Hey, look.
He's my best friend.
Would you have imagined, people, that a 7th degree black belt and former South Pacific Thai boxing champion would have a dog like that? There we go. You have officially learned something else. Thanks for the interview, Eddie, and we'll catch you later. Okay, bye.
Hey, on the martial arts thing, do I ever get sick of it? No, because I guess we love it so much. So
it's a huge part of your life, but do you sometimes go, there's more to me than that?
Yeah, I think so. The people that know me, so they do know there's other background to me, I guess. So no, I'm still pretty comfortable with it.
Definitely, it's something we were talking about earlier leads me to believe it's definitely not a hobby. It's more of just it's a part of life for you. You can't see it stopping anytime soon, because like you said, 34 years, that's a long time, and considering you're only I think you're only barely 40, aren't you? So
You are such a gentleman.
I know that's one for me.
Brilliant.
Because I mean, like you said, you would be one of the people we would define as a lifetime martial artist.
Yeah.
So if and this is the conversation I've had with a lot of people with COVID, you are in a country where you're on a lockdown. Is it 28 days you're having, or is it extended, or what is it meant to be?
No, it finishes tonight at midnight, and then we go down a level. So most businesses kind of open up, but there's still lots of restrictions. So
I think you'll go down to what we are on now, where it's pretty much you can go, but you can't go too far.
That's right.
So for you, like, it could be 6 odd months before you are back training like us. Is that that's just the mother of a speed bump? It's not a like, oh my God, the sky is falling.
That's right. And it's to say, we're always going to be here. We're always going to come back. We're never going to say, some of us are here for a lifetime. So we'll just pick up what we need to pick up, and we'll shoot forward again.
Yeah.
It's in every business too. Let's not just talk about martial arts. That's in our business, we say we're locked down for a month. To get back to where we need to be is 6 months away, because the next month is just rebuilding from the month we've just lost. And then there's another month to get that back. And then there's another month to go forward. So by the time you've gone through that, from the day of the lockdown, it's probably a good 6 months before your business is looking real again.
And that's something we'll probably answer in the last question. But to go back a little bit, Ed, I guess, when did you, without talking too much about martial arts, but tell us about your childhood. Wayward youth, very switched on. Martial arts reined you in. How does Eddie come to where he is?
Look, yeah, a little bit of a misspent youth, really. Yeah,
All right, mate. It's all right, mate. No one's checking.
A few bumps, but look, I've written it before that I did have 3 rat bag mates, and we used to hoon around in cars like kids do. Because remember, being a teenager then is no different to being a teenager now. You hoon around in cars and, you know, swear at a few people and get yourself into a bit of trouble here and there. But the time that I actually did first step into a dojo floor, I was hooked. I was absolutely hooked. And I've written previously that they said, come along. I said, no, come along. No, I'm cool. I don't need, come along. No, I'm not into fighting. Went along.
Where do I sign?
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. I trained, and we did the Jet Black system back then, and I just didn't stop training. And
so Christchurch the whole way? You've been in Christchurch the whole time?
Yeah. And I used to smoke cigarettes and drink alcohol and do stupid things. Just knocked it all on the head on almost that day. So I attribute it all to having a focus. And it's not just about martial arts, I don't think. You get a kid and go, hey, you're in the regional rugby team, and then sacrifice all the things they want because they're passionate about it. So, you know, you just can't direct it at martial arts. If you can just find your passion, any kid can find their passion, and that gives them some direction. It just stops the flip-flopping all around the place, I think.
Do you find there is, and I guess I'll say this because, I mean, without sounding terribly unpatriotic, I've done a lot of, and we've probably spoken about this before, I've done a lot of reading about, like you just mentioned, rugby, teams like the All Blacks, and the Maori heritage is extremely founded in that warriorism and that state of proudness of who you are and where you come from. Is that something that even stems into martial arts in New Zealand, like a very prevalent, like you are proud of who you are because you're basically, this is who I am and I'm proud of my heritage?
Yeah, it's that belonging, isn't it? It's
because I mean, you would liken martial arts, especially BJMA, it's a tribe, and then like again, I'm not big on my Maori heritage, but I would imagine that tribe mentality is very, very big in Maori heritage. And does it stem forward from there?
Yeah, and a lot of that culture, including Samoan, Tongan, Maori culture, they have a hierarchical system. When mum comes out and says something, a lot of that culture, they do it. Otherwise dad's home, and it sort of steps up the ladder. And you hear them in Aboriginal, you hear them talk about their elders and the respect they have for their elders.
Mm.
So martial arts is very, very much that same sort of level. People have respect for those. I have respect for Richard Norton, Billy May, the chief. They're our elders. So it is relevant, I think. Yeah.
Do you back in New Zealand in those days, like you said, you were a little bit of a wayward teen and then worked your way into martial arts. I mean, did that I guess two questions. Does that you would have seen a lot of people come and go. Do you think it was like a real, it was tough, obviously? Were there times you would sort of go, this is too tough, but now you look back and you go, I'm glad it was that tough?
I can't remember it being tough. It was very tough. It was always black eyes and bleeding noses and fat lips and that sort of stuff, because
You understood that was part of the contract.
yeah, I don't know. That's just what happens. No, let's just keep going.
No other way.
The enthusiasm outweighed those other thoughts. But you got to remember the martial arts and us as people, and our martial art has matured so much since then. So we look after people so much better, and people become better for it. But back then, no, it was just so focused. Oh, well, it's just a black eye. When's the next training session, sort of thing.
So being in the martial arts for so long, which was leading me into the next thing you said, when do you reckon you started to see that shift? And not that we started to care about people more, but we started to realize maybe there's more to it than just beating each other up every 2 or 3 times a week. There's an entire, because you would see it too in your clubs, there's an entire demographic now that is training that 20 plus years ago they just would not have trained, not because we didn't want them to train. The training they wouldn't have been able to sustain development with that training that was happening back then.
Yeah,
when did you see that start to happen?
It was really that mid-90s when we really became more intelligent, and technology now is even better and better and better. So there was better ways to serve everybody instead of just serving the guys that just, I had my first kickboxing fight in 1987. That's all we did. Everything was full contact-ish sort of stuff. And, people go, oh, old school, so cool. No, it wasn't. It's so much better now because we help many more people.
And you'll probably have the same, I just went to my physio today to get treated again for some more ongoing stuff. And he said to me again, he goes, if I have kids, I will never send them to martial arts if your body has anything to go on. But like you said, back then, for you to move into kickboxing, because you had a pretty reputable kickboxing career as well, that was a very natural thing to do. Whereas now you will have someone who does Thai boxing 10 plus years, never sets foot in a ring, and that's fine because they're in it for something other than that.
Yeah. So and look, and all of that, we weren't really going to talk about martial arts too much, but we can't help ourselves.
But I'm sort of leading into like your work as well.
Yeah, that transfers all over to business. I've been talking to Matt Bull recently. I'm doing a wee paper for the chief on threes, because everybody knows I'm the threes guy.
Yeah, I spoke to the chief today. He's asking why isn't it finished.
Yeah, thanks for that.
Hang on. Yeah, chief. Yep.
But I may actually do three seminars on the threes, and it's life, work, and martial arts, and how those things can develop in everyday life. And I owe all of that, if we're coming back to life and the business that I'm in, it all comes back to, I just use my martial arts principles, not directly, but naturally, in business, because I'm a leader. I'm a leader in our business in New Zealand, as I am a leader in martial arts.
I had this chat. I had this chat with one of our other people in martial arts, and this is a general term, and it's no disrespect to anybody before us, but from somebody I've been in Zendo Kai. I've been involved in Zendo Kai since I was 19, so it's about 26 years. I have even seen and again, no disrespect to anyone before us, but I find our higher ranks now in our system, you included, have a much more broader mind, and you can almost equate like pretty much all our higher ranks, it equates over into their personal and professional life. They all have, you know, great jobs, they've worked hard, they hold positions of importance. So there's a lot there. And I think that is, again, if you weren't doing Zendo Kai and hadn't been in Zendo Kai for that long, do you think you'd be doing the same sort of job? So it's stemmed over into that. So I hold responsibility here. So I'm naturally chasing responsibility in my professional life as well.
Yeah, and that just happens naturally because that's what you do in your hobby. That becomes naturally you. And, you know, we talk mind, body, and spirit, if we're going to talk philosophically. And, you know, a lot of people get worried about the word spirit as in we're going to start getting religious. No, your spirit is naturally you. So what I've naturally learnt over the 34 years obviously naturally comes out. I'm now, Zendo Kai's made me a natural leader as such. It's taught me without subliminally, it's taught me to be a leader, how to deal with people and be a people's person, because we deal with different people in our dojo as we do every day. So yeah, it's the mind, body, spirit, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely is. And it's very interesting to see how people transfer a lot of their teachings and their trainings over into their professional life. And again, no disrespect to anybody of, you know, of a higher rank that holds a position they may not feel is management wise or whatever, but it's always interesting because, yeah, great, more often than not you see these people high rank martial artists and they're also general managers, state managers, national managers, because it just is that, like you said, it's that natural progression for it to transfer over. So now that we know you a little bit, Edward, is that what you just get called if you're in trouble, or, you know?
Yeah, just normally in trouble.
That's what you got called. Something you're passionate about.
Well, something that well, most people know about me, but those people that only know me as the martial artists, you probably know this about me, but I don't know if you know, but I like motorbikes.
Yeah, because when I was at your house, those 12 bikes that were in the
I've got
you can only ride one at a time. You know that, don't you?
Yeah, so I've got one for each flavour. So when I started martial arts, I was sort of 15, 16 years old. I didn't have my first car until I was 22.
Mm.
I had motorbikes. That's all I had. So now I have, I've got a race bike. I've got, because I race on the track. I've got a dirt bike, so I go trail riding. I've got an adventure bike which I just purchased just recently, so I can go down shingle tracks and over the peninsula and up and down the coast. And I've got a really dirty big hyper sports bike, like 200 horsepower, fastest production bike that you can buy, sort of thing. So it's a big sports bike. So I have one of every flavour. So I just don't like motorcycling. It's like martial arts. I like all martial arts. Well, I like all motorcycles too. So no, I honestly love it. It's always been with me.
For those who if you ever do get the chance to see Eddie Woodford's garage, yes, it's not. Let's just be very clear. It's for housing, not cars. I think, yeah. Is there a jet ski in there as well? Is that like the that's the water motorbike? On that passion, do you ride a motorbike differently now at your age than you did when you were 15, 16?
Most definitely, yeah.
What's changed?
Maturity. Knowing it hurts. It's a bit like martial arts. If I go
You've had a little bit of time off the bike, so to speak.
oh, I've had some pretty bad accidents actually. I had one, and I do a lot of riding with a really good friend of ours called Nigel Stupples.
Oh God.
Yeah, so we've
Spend half the time looking over your shoulder, wondering if he's still there, wouldn't you?
it's been a few times that he hasn't been there. And we're kids, you know, and that's what you do. And we used to race around. We used to have a good time. But I have, unfortunately, once cleaned one of my motorbikes, went for a ride up around our hills, and I woke up 3 days later in hospital. And my helmet had a big tyre mark over it where the car had run over the helmet. So I was very lucky, very, very lucky in that respect. And
how long did it take you to get back on the bike?
As soon as the insurance company paid out and I could get another one.
Right answer.
Yeah. Look, I didn't actually, even to this day, I still don't know what happened. So sounds like I went wide and lost it, and car smacked into the bike, and the bike was pretty damaged.
Was there ever a time of hesitation where you go, maybe that was just a little bit too close, might give this a spell?
Yeah, too many of those times. But look, like anything, with a bit of maturity and a bit of wisdom, you see things before they happen. You've seen it before. You make the adjustments, once again, subliminally and naturally. You make those adjustments, stay on the left side of the road, or you can see that car's edging out, so you'll just button off. You don't have to brake, you just button off. There's that natural preparation, really. So yeah, you learn a lot from them. I tell you what, I follow the motorbike racing too quite a lot. I actually go down to Phillip Island. I've been down 3 or 4 times. So I try and tie that in October with the Victorian gradings. I haven't done too well with that, but so I follow the motorcycle racing.
Yeah.
Actually, here's one for you Australians. On my 21st birthday, I built a model of Wayne Gardner.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I built a model of his motorbike on my 21st cake of NSR 500. 1987, he won the world championship, the first Australian to win the championship. So, yeah, I don't know if you know, but I like motorbikes.
We do now. And look, that's what I said. It's really good. And that's, earlier, I think it's important, and I have this same thing with my mates. They know me as this is one thing I do, but there's always so much to us. And I think it's very good for us to have a passion external to martial arts. That's extremely interesting, Mr. Woodford. Okay, bucket list. What's on there?
It's always a hard one, isn't it? I thought about
the one people have struggled with the most.
Yeah, no, I've got one, and Sandra and I have actually got one planned. We were doing it for my 50th in November, but we bought a new house instead, so we used up a few funds. So when I went into Tasmania and came up and trained with you, we do have one, but a lot of people go, oh, what's your goals? What do you look at for doing? I'm pretty satisfied in life. It's I've got all the things I want to do. I love doing martial arts. I get to do that religiously. I've got my motorbikes. I've got a nice house. I've got an okay job and all those things. So I don't really have any other things to strive for. But something Sandra and I were going to do for my 50th, we're still going to do. And we're going to tour through Europe.
Mm-hmm.
We were going to do that for my 50th. So we'll probably do it in the next couple of years. So we've already got the plan. So this is how much of a bucket list it is. I've already got the plan. So
I think I know where this is going.
We land in Germany, and on the first week we go to the Essen GP, the motorbike Grand Prix. So we spend the weekend doing that, and the next one's in 2 weeks' time. So we travel through Europe, and then we get to France. When we get to France, the next Grand Prix is on, and then we can go to Le Mans and watch the motorcycling at Le Mans. Then after that,
timing is crazy. I didn't even know this was on. Look where we are. Sandra, for those who don't know, Sandra is Eddie's beautiful wife. Is she what would I say, as accommodating in this agenda as you are, or are you just going to go, I don't know how this happened, we've just ended up here, look at that?
Sandra's Sandra's the one that keeps me honest with myself.
Good.
The reason I say that is an example, is a story I tell, is I bought a race bike. Oh, this was about 5 or 6 years ago. I had a buddy racing around on his racing, and she goes, would you like to do that? And I said, oh, maybe. And she goes, why don't you? What's all your excuses? I said, pardon? I said, oh, I'm too old, it costs too much, and what was it? Too old, cost too much, and I was too big, because most just small people, you know. And she looks around in the pits, and there's this big guy on an old vintage bike. She goes, he's bigger than you, and he's like a big old man. He had a big grey beard, so he's older than you, he's bigger than you. How much does his bike cost? A couple of grand. She goes, you're not too old, you're not too big, and it doesn't cost too much. Way you go. Within the week, I had a race bike.
You need to hang on to that woman.
A couple of years ago, I go, oh, Senjo, oh, can I really afford to go over there and stuff? She goes, well, if you don't, you can't get it back, can you? It's only $500. You've got $500. It's how much? What's it worth to you? And I said, I don't know, $5,000, $10,000, because I get to hang out with you, don't I, Mr. Reber?
You get to hang out with you.
So it's not too expensive. So go, you need to do what you need to do. So she keeps me honest. So she allows me to go, makes me go forward, really.
Do you think does she work on a principle, if not now, when kind of thing, you know?
Yeah. She just gives a different value for me, you know.
And I guess going back to the bucket list, it's been interesting to talk to people about bucket lists, because we've had a few people on here that have, and again, we all have a different way of seeing it. There's been I want to do that. And then there's the people like yourself who are really content and actually have everything I want. If there is something else that happens, and if I end up doing that trip to Europe, that'll be awesome. But if it doesn't happen, I'm still happy. Do you think people maybe sometimes chase the bucket list too much and don't stop and have a look at everything they've already got or all they've achieved?
Yeah, without not sounding inspiring, you know, some people, if you get your goal setting wrong, it can destroy you. You know, you've got to have that level of satisfaction. You know, when are you going to be satisfied? Because if you never are, you'll always be chasing. So I think I mentioned to you off camera about people complain about being at home.
Yeah.
My home's the best place, the only place I want to be in the world.
I love this. If you're listening, listen to this. I love this.
So people get a problem and go, oh, I'm stuck in the house. And I go, why would you not want to be at home? It's the place that I have everything. I've got my beautiful wife. I've got my dog. I've got my 5 motorbikes.
What's that? Lock me in.
A lot of people, instead of if you don't like being at home, you've only got a house.
Yeah.
You need to make a house a home. So it's just how people see it. So that's why I'm satisfied. I still want more in the other things, but it's I had something I was going to talk about later on. I'll cut it in now, actually. And
well, we're leading into the next bit anyway, so go.
Yeah. Well, and we can backtrack, but you know, I have a bit of a mantra that I talk about, that I live quite a lot in the last sort of 5 years, and it's Sandra and I often just sit back, and she just got out of the spa pool, right? But we often sit in the spa pool and goes, wow, lucky, and that's how we say it. We say it in a funny accent too. I go, lucky. That's why we say it like that. But everything we do, you know, I go out into the garage, and she goes, lucky. Okay, here's one. 2 Fridays ago, and this Friday, I had a Zoom meeting with some really good friends. I call them the bloody, what do we call them?
Bloody good folk.
The bloody good folk. and we all sit around in a Zoom meeting and we drink whiskey. I've done a bottle of Woodford Reserve with these people. Oh, one of them, Mr. Reber.
Present.
And
Guilty.
I'll get off the Zoom after speaking to you and Matt Bull and Ben Hamilton and Nigel Stupples and Pete Smedley, and I'm feeling a little bit tipsy, but I go to Sandra, how bloody lucky am I to hang out with people like that?
I agree, mate.
That's that appreciation, you know. And my mantra is be grateful, show appreciation, and be humbled. Don't be humble, but be humbled. I'm lucky. I hang out with people like you.
Yeah, mate. And you know what? I am lucky too. Which moves me on to our next thing. So we've probably already started a little bit on the COVID conversation. So I guess we'll digress a little bit back to work, I guess, from a point of view. So you are in lockdown, and as we've said earlier, pre-interview, sometimes what people define as lockdown is different to actual lockdown. But still, you're working from home. You're still employed, even though, like you said, there's things that have had to happen in order for the wheels to keep turning. You're glad to be at home. I mean, there's a lot of worse places you could be getting locked down in. Is it something that you've just gone, well, we've just got to do it, so let's just get on with it? It's not like it's forever.
Yeah, I'm fortunate to sort of still be working. So I do a bit of work at home, and then I go into work and get things ready for the people that are picking up or we're shipping out. So that's kept me from overthinking. I don't have an overthinking mindset, and I'm sure
You're busy.
Yeah, I'm sure people that are unfortunate they haven't got something to keep them as busy as I am, they do overthink, and they get a little bit worried about a few things. So I'm mindful of that, you know, because I've got staff, you know, the people that have got to feed their families, and you know, you've got to be mindful that everybody's situation's a wee bit different from mine. So it's been very easy for me. It's almost been pretty close to, you know, business as usual for me.
Yeah.
But I'm sure, you know, a few people are doing a lot more difficult than someone like I am. You got to remember, with Christchurch, we are the experts on trauma like this.
People, this was another piece of gold pre-interview that I'm very glad he raised up again.
Yeah. So
how many years since the quake? 10?
The earthquake was about 11 years ago, I think. 11 years ago.
This is
obviously
fucking nothing compared to that, is it?
No. And then we had our mosque shootings. Everything got shut down for that.
Yes, of course.
And we had a big fire up on our Port Hills. Like a bushfire, like you, nothing like you guys, but for us, for a city.
For you guys, it's a big deal, yeah.
Well, a good friend of mine, Dan Saunders, he was living up that. He had to evacuate their home, and him and Jen, so they had to do. So you know, a lot of people's lives get affected. So I don't know whether we've become a little bit conditioned from it, but it's fair to say we're getting used to it.
And do you think that's? I mean, because again, it's been interesting, and we had a talk off interview with how a few other countries were handling it, and we won't get into that. But we watch how your country has handled it, and your fearless leader, and for all intensive purposes, without us both being experts, seems to have worked.
Yeah.
So it's just something that has to be done.
We don't have people protesting or anything like that. I guess it's the Kiwi and Aussie way, you know. You go, okay, this is what we have to do. Let's just get it done, and the consequences are usually fine, you know.
Moving forward, is there anything you think, you know, from a New Zealand point of view, might change down the track?
No, look, it's a bit of a lottery, and I think it is for everybody what the outcome is from the other side. How many people will be working? I know our tourist industry's our big money maker, and we've got a lot of hotels that have just got shut doors. So, and people laid off, etc. It'd be interesting to see what comes back and what opportunities people take to sort of move up again, I guess.
Funny, I was talking to we've been doing Zoom catch ups all weekend. I did a Zoom catch up with Helen's best mate's family, and we were actually talking about the prospect of going over to New Zealand for a few days, us two families together. And I said, well, if we go, we've got to go to Christchurch. We've got to go around that area, because New Zealand would be one of the places, having been there a few times now, as a destination. Certainly when things get back up, that will definitely be back on people's radar, you would think, because it is a beautiful part of the world. So fucking green.
Yeah. Well, when you do, I've got a double oaked Woodford Reserve, double oak, that I'll keep for us.
Well, I've discovered something in the last probably couple of weeks that I may actually like, the odd little bit of bourbon, because we do have a bottle of Woodford Reserve. I only discovered it the other day, and a bottle of Wild Turkey has appeared. So yeah, maybe I will take you up on that, Mr. Woodford.
You see
from a if there was something that you would say to people who maybe are struggling a little bit with the COVID side of things, give us a piece of advice in maybe one or two sentences.
Don't forget what you've already got.
Perfect.
You haven't got COVID-19, so be thankful for your health. You should be thankful. I'm thankful for something every day. Every day I say, lucky. Every day there wouldn't be everything in my day that I'm not something grateful for. Once again, there's my mantra, isn't it? Appreciation, gratefulness, and be humbled. There's got to be something good for you, and it's hard to say when you're pretty optimistic like I am. Some people think a little bit differently, and I understand that, but just try and find that thing that spins your wheels that you're grateful for.
You said earlier that there was a couple of moments that you do have those little bits of doubt and that sort of thing. What pulls you back in? What do you sort of think about that pulls you back on track and go, no, it is going to be okay?
I guess it's just that attitude. I just guess it's that, well, I'm still here.
You just talk yourself back out of it.
Yeah, I'm a little bit stubborn. I'm a stubborn guy. I was a stubborn fighter.
I think we have to be stubborn to get to where we are, don't we?
That's right. And so I'm a little bit stubborn and go, no, keep going forward. And you actually tell yourself that. Just find a quiet place and go, no, just go forward. That's how I do it. And as I say, it's different for everybody.
Mate, it is always a pleasure to talk to you. I'm very grateful for the time that we spend. It did take me a good 2+ hours for my cheeks to stop hurting and my head to stop hurting after that Friday Zoom. It was definitely, I said to Helen, and I've said it a couple of times now, and this is again, one thing I take away. Why haven't we fucking done that before? It's been no different. The technology's always been there. So it'll be definitely something that, we need to do that, be it once a month or whatever. And it's been great to reconnect more with people than, other than just face to face. This is just so easy. I mean, I don't know about you, but 6 weeks ago, I didn't even know what Zoom was.
No.
And now here we are.
We used to do the Skype thing, and this is like so much smoother and better, and it's just a link, and everybody should do it. If anyone's got friends they want to get touch with, do the Zoom and send a link and have a drink with your friends. I did it with my family. 2 weeks ago, my daughter's partner turned 23 or something, 22, and me, Sandra, my ex-wife and her partner, his mother, his father, all the parents, him and it, were all on Zoom, and we spent 2 or 3 hours there, and as they were drinking and did a few sort of Jägermeister shots, and we had a good time because we're
How
all
good is
sitting
that?
at home. So it can be done.
How good is that? Well, if anyone ever wants to get in touch with Eddie, usually you'll find him. He's on Facebook, but as I said, he's the head instructor for BJMA in New Zealand. He's very easy to find on social media, but he also frequents Proactive Martial Arts run by none other than Nigel and Anna Stupples. Eddie, it's been a bloody pleasure, mate. Thank you for agreeing to come on board. And guys, if you like what you're hearing and seeing, make sure you like us on our Facebook pages for the COVID interviews, or on the Kyl Reber Facebook page. Subscribe to the YouTube channel and do all the other stuff that goes with it. Thank you, my friend. It's been a pleasure.
And we'll catch up very soon.
Absolutely. We'll see you later, my friend. Bye, guys.